Hello guys, and welcome to this video to learn how to diagnose supernumerary teeth. Okay, so sometimes we have the normal teeth impacted. They are not supernumerary teeth, okay, but sometimes we do have supernumerary teeth or tooth, causing of course crowding and other issues in the dental arch and also in the alveolar bone. Okay, so let's discuss this with a CBCT, and that's why I will add the link here for those who are in the beginning of the dental course of the videos of how to read CBCT and some other basic videos of radiology. So go back to the basic videos if you guys are in the beginning of the dental course, for example, okay? Now we have the planes here for us to review on top of myself, and let's start discussing this case. So we do have an impacted tooth, the crown is turned upwards, the shape is completely abnormal, so it's decreased, the size, it's conical, the shape. And take a look at this. The tooth is actually here, okay? So I'm going to draw a line here for you guys to understand the actual location of this tooth, okay? At least in this sagittal plane, okay? So this would be the image that we have on the sagittal plane. On the coronal plane, I guess you guys can see so much better here on the right side of this image. Don't forget that the blue line is the camera taking this picture, so the coronal plane, which is oblique now, of course, and then the orange line is the camera taking this picture on the top left corner. Okay, so that's the sagittal plane. But there are other alterations for this case, so feel free to pause the video and try by yourself to diagnose the other alterations of this case. And of course, I hope you guys realize that the crown of this impacted tooth, and we are going to find out that this is actually a supernumerary tooth, and we are going to understand how to know and why, okay? So first, let's understand that this tooth is in continuation with the periodontal ligament space of the 2-1 of the central incisor here, turned upwards, the crown is turned upwards, and then even in continuation with radiolucent lesion. This lesion is also associated to the apex of the root canal treated lateral incisor. We have now a radiolucent or hypodense image with ill-defined limits, which is suggestive of acute alterations of the bone. For example, the radiographic abscess. Okay, but of course you guys would correlate this with the clinical information, with the medical and dental history of the patient, as we always do. So radiographs never comes first, just because we are analyzing this image. So let's understand that the crown is actually in continuation with the lesion. So it's not only the enlarged folliculum or follicle, now we have the lesion as well associated to this situation. And take a look at this. In the axial plane on the bottom left of your screen, we can see that this tooth is actually in continuation with the, take a look, the nasopalatine canal. Okay, so the nasopalatine canal is here. So now let's analyze the CBCT together. We are going to navigate through the CBCT together. Let me remove now this picture here. And now we have the true CBCT, okay? So let's start by the mandible. We focus now on the axial view here. Okay, so the axial plane, and we are going to go from bottom to the top. Okay, so the bone is there. Now take a look at this. We have the two mental foramens here, and then we keep going upwards. There is a lesion here. Okay, so I'm going to bring all my axes to see this lesion, and I make all the axes parallel to the lesion. And now take a look at this. We have those two lesions. Quiz for you guys, and I would like to see the answers on the comments, okay? It's good for you guys to train, so don't feel afraid to commit mistakes. We are here training, okay? We are here as a group training. So what is the differential diagnosis list for those two lesions that you guys are seeing? Okay, so we have the retained roots, that's a canine, that's a premolar, and now we are seeing those two lesions. Take a look at this, right? So we have these two lesions. Now you guys are seeing all the planes, okay? So the canal, the nutrient canal coming from the inferior alveolar nerve, which is actually the mandibular canal. We cannot see nerves on the radiographs, so you guys remember that. We are seeing the mandibular canal, of course. With bone loss associated and everything, let's try to describe these lesions properly. We also can see this premolar with cervical lesions and everything. But all right, let's discuss about the other alterations a little bit later, because we have a lot to discuss in this case, about this case. So now we keep going upwards again, right? And now we are going to find the maxilla, of course. And then we have the maxilla. And now we can see on the first, always first, the axial plane, right? So we find our alteration on the axial plane, and now we move all the axes to the structure that we want to diagnose. And we start making our axis parallel, okay, to the structure. Parallel or perpendicular, of course. And take a look at this. We have the lesion and we have the tooth here in continuation with the very nice here nasopalatine canal. Okay, so if I move the sagittal plane, now you guys are seeing only the canal, the nasopalatine canal, and of course the incisive foramen, which is the foramen of the nasopalatine canal, where we have the nasopalatine nerve going for the soft tissues of the palatal anterior area. So let's go again for the tooth, and then here is the situation of our tooth. Okay, very close to the palatal plate and in continuation with the lesion. Let's understand now what is going on with this lesion, right? So that's the lesion. The root is actually treated, so we have root canal treatment here. All right, of course there's artifacts, the metal artifacts, which would prevent us from diagnosing maybe even a possible fracture here. But okay, so we have this situation here. Okay, I enhanced the contrast, not only the brightness, the contrast as well, for us to diagnose better this situation. And it seems to be, you guys could also consider a chronic situation, so a periapical granuloma, but it's also, the limits are ill-defined enough for us to suspect of acute alterations of the bone. And of course you need to do something about this. So of course this would be part of an integrated treatment plan. Okay, so we are not discussing antagonist arch occlusion and the physical examination, intraoral examination. We are just diagnosing this image here for the moment. Okay, but then we have the supernumerary tooth. So how to make sure this is a supernumerary tooth? Okay, and of course we need to count the others. That's the basically solution. Okay, so let's see this case first in 3D. So then you would have an OPG, a panoramic radiograph, or you would basically count these teeth on the clinical examination. But here you have all the teeth, right? So the two premolars with the lesions here in the mandible, molars with bone loss and everything, and then of course the 2D is the gold standard to diagnose, not the 3D, but the 3D is very good for us to view, to have a general view of the case. Okay, so now take a look at this. We have the lateral, we have the central incisor, we have the other central incisor, then you have your canine, and then the two premolars. Everything's fine here. First premolar is missing, and then we have this tooth here, which could be the second or the third molar, of course, molars, not premolars. But then from 1 to 5 we have, so from incisor to premolar, we have everything fine here, okay? And of course, that's saying for us that this tooth, the supernumerary one, is indeed a supernumerary tooth, okay? So it's on top of the others, so it's adding on top of the others. It's actually something extra, okay, for this dental arch. It's ectopic, of course, the location is not common. It's already displaced with the crown turned upwards, as you guys could see, and that's the situation. Okay, so again, this would be part of a treatment plan. How would you treat this case? So you need to rehabilitate the case, but before you have the lesions, we need to see the chief complaint of the patient. If the patient has pain in this lateral incisor, now the lateral incisor becomes, of course, a priority, okay, because there is pain, it's an urgent situation. Then we don't know the periodontal conditions. You cannot do treatment in a very bad, periodontal conditions with a lot of bacteria, a lot of infections. Then you would treat the lesions, you would do the surgeries, and then you would rehabilitate with pros. Okay, posterior teeth would protect anterior teeth, of course, and then you would do restorations if needed. All right, so a very nice case, at least for us to comment and study a little bit about the case, at the same time that we understand how to diagnose supernumerary tooth. Should we take a CBCT? Well, especially for the surgical plan, yes. Always when we need 3D information or radiation guidelines, we will allow you guys to take a CBCT because now it's very important, not only to diagnose, to see proximity to structures in 3D, and then to plan the surgical retrieval of this tooth. Okay, if it's part of your treatment, of course. All right, So if you guys like, please hit the like button, share this video, and see you guys in the next videos.